Hello, everybody. My guest today is Mike Morgan. He's an ex-RAF pilot who entered the IT sector 25 years ago. He worked through the ranks to serve in senior executive roles at Compaq, HP, and Sony across EMEA before founding his own SaaS company, expanding to the US and exiting in 2016. He served on the boards of many startups since 2005 and currently runs two e-commerce SaaS companies, a consultancy practice for startups, and a Harley-Davidson dealership while holding the chairmanship of a mobile ticketing software startup. Mike, you're a busy guy. Are you ready to take us to the top?
I am. I was born ready. Let's go.
All right. Board seats or a weekend, cruising on your Harley-Davidson. Which do you prefer?
Oh, come on. I love riding my Harley-Davidson. There's nothing that beats that.
Do you ever ride and you have your AirPods in and you're on a board meeting at the same time?
It's been known, yeah, but I'm usually trying to do that on a train, which in this country, believe me, does not give a satisfactory outcome. But
you're in Manchester?
I love riding my bike, and I fit the rest in everywhere I can.
Mike, which country you're in? Are you in Manchester?
I'm based in Manchester in the UK, yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right, tell us about the company. So first off, you do a bunch of stuff. Is ChannelGrabber your kind of your largest business?
Yeah, that's the company that takes most of my time.
Okay, great. So tell us let's focus on that company. What's the company do and what's the revenue model?
So it's a SaaS business, so it's monthly recurring revenue based. It's a multi-channel e-commerce solution, which we supply to online retailers. Enables a retailer to connect all of their online destinations, so eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, you name it, and access all of the back office functions through a single user interface through our web application.
Okay, and give me a general sense of what people might pay per year for this kind of tool.
Yeah, so our average monthly recurring revenue for a customer is about $145, $145, $150.
And what are they getting for that typically? Is that like a number of SKUs? Like, what are your limits?
So our fees are based on order volume. So we have the conventional banding structure. So the more orders you process through the application, the more you'll pay. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so $145 a month on average. And put this on a timeline for us. When did you launch the company?
So ChannelGrabber was founded back in 2012. The original founders managed the business through to 2016. There was a split of the original founders, and the shareholders invited me to come in and take over the business, which I did last year. So I've been here running the operation since April 2017.
Okay, and what does that mean, by the way, take over? I mean, you had an exit in 2016. Did you use a bunch of that capital to buy this company out, or what's that actually look like?
I haven't bought the company out. I'm a shareholder of ChannelGrabber. So I initially came in and did actually a consultancy project for the shareholders to take a look at the business and assess the potential for growth. Identified areas that we should focus on and invest in. And we started to do that in the spring of last year. So I run the business now as CEO. It is part-time right now. As you already mentioned, I have quite a lot of other things going on. But ChannelGrabber is my main focus.
Okay, so just to be clear, they essentially gave you like an equity grant. That's, I assume, investing to some degree. You didn't actually come in and buy a majority stake or something like that in the company.
I didn't buy a majority stake, but I have bought shares in the company, and of course I do have options.
I see. Okay, very good. That helps you understand kind of what the function actually looks like. And what's the team size today? How many people?
So we have 20 employees right now.
Okay, everyone in UK?
So far, yeah. We started selling into the US this summer, and that's going really well. But we've decided to do that at a low cost, low touch model. So we product sale in the US, but we're doing sales and marketing from the UK into the US market.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And what have you took over a year ago, what have you been able to scale to in terms of total customers using the platform?
So we've just exceeded 800 customers.
Okay. And how is that, where's that growth come from? I mean, how are you getting these customers?
Well, we've invested time and effort in demand generation, which is something that was not a great focus of the team previously, obviously. But we've also invested a hell of a lot in the product in the last 12 months. So the product was feature deficient, and in record time, we've plunged a lot of investment into development resources, and we've now at a point where we have a product which we believe is is market leading in terms of functionality.
And Mike, when you say plow a ton of money in, I mean, did you raise capital to do this, or you just use your cash flow, or what?
We used limited cash, and I mean limited, but we've also brought in a little debt. So being very transparent, we've probably about $400,000 of debt in the last 12 months, which we're servicing.
Which firm did you decide to work with on that debt? Venture debt is becoming more and more popular.
Well, we actually worked with two providers. One was Creative England. You may not be familiar with them, but they're a great and very supportive lender here to small businesses in the UK. And we also work with Funding Circle.
Yep. Okay. Now, do they follow the same venture debt terms that like most venture debt firms? So there's no personal guarantees, no covenants, no warrants?
No, on the contrary. So Funding Circle do require personal guarantees from the shareholders. Funding Circle works on a debenture model. So the debt is registered against the business.
So are you paying that back based off a percentage of gross receipts each month off your revenue stream, or is it actual fixed interest rate?
It's a fixed monthly fee, fixed interest rate through the duration of the loan. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, very good. And why decide, just out of curiosity, why decide to do that versus just go raise traditional equity capital?
Well, it all comes down to growth. So the company, for a number of reasons, reached a hiatus in 2014. So pretty rapid growth. It's a very typical story. Rapid growth and then plateau. And this was the reason why I was asked to come in and take a look at the business to understand why that plateau had taken place and to assess whether there was potential to start growing again. And I concluded there was. But if you're trying to secure venture capital, then you want to have a good, strong growth story for a period of time. We couldn't demonstrate that, and that obviously has an adverse impact on valuations. And overall, I felt that it was the best solution to use debt in the short term, and then to go out for a venture raise or a private equity raise at this point. So in actual fact, coincidentally, we're just kicking off our next funding round this week.
Oh, that's great. And so how much are you looking to raise?
Up to $3 million at the stage. Okay.
And obviously this is up for negotiation, but what are you targeting in terms of valuation pre-money?
So, I think, based on our revenue, we're currently tracking about $1.3 million in annual recurring revenue. So, the market rate is 4 to 6x that figure. So, I guess I usually work in pounds, so excuse me, but okay. We're probably looking anywhere between 6 and 9 million US.
Yeah, 6 to 9 million pre-money.
Yeah.
And do you think, I don't know what the market's like over there in the UK, do you think you'll be able to get a lead over in the UK, or you'll have to come over to the States and leverage US capital?
Well, we're working with a corporate finance partner on this raise, and that is simply because the management team here are lacking in bandwidth to lead a fundraising exercise. We're obviously going to be participating, and I'll be leading it from the management team, but we're going to be working with a partner here, a firm called KBS, and so they will be leading the outreach to potential investors and also potentially buyers. And I'm expecting that to focus on the UK, but I certainly wouldn't rule out acquisition investment from the US.
If somebody gave you an acquisition offer that was around the valuation that you just articulated, to call it $6 million, is that something you'd seriously consider?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what
I think, we're looking. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say that I think that a sale of the company is interesting for our current set of principal shareholders. They've been in the business since the outset in the case of the founders. And we also have an angel investor who came in our first and only seed round. And so I think there would be an appetite. That none of them are executive or operational in the business right now. They're quite distant from it. So I think there would be an appetite to step out at this stage. The rest of the management team and I are committed to stay with the business. And in fact, I would certainly move into a full-time role, potentially look at relocation overseas as well.
Yeah.
Whatever the business requires.
Is it, as they say, right? Is the business cash flow positive today?
We are marginally loss-making at this point. As I said, we made a lot of investments ahead of revenue, taken a few chances over the last 12 or 18 months, but we're looking at being cash flow positive in February and March of next year.
Got it. And when you say kind of marginally negative today, are we talking like negative 10% or more?
Oh, negative less than 10%.
Oh, okay, good. In terms of EBITDA margin.
We're in pretty good shape. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, good. And then help me understand current growth. So if you're doing kind of 1.4 million run rate today, where were you about a year ago, November 2017?
We've grown based on our latest estimates for the end of this year. We'll have grown 33% year on year. Prior 2 or 3 years, we had grown 0. And what I think is important is, and something we're quite pleased about and proud of, is that we have 2 products, one old, one new. The new product really took over properly last year from the old, but we still have a lot of customers on the old platform. And all of our growth, and I mean all of it in the last 12 months, has been on the new product, which has a lower average recurring revenue for the year. So to grow by that much, only out of one product line, I'm pretty pleased with that.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing, call it 1.4 million in ARR today, that's about 110 grand per month. And if that's 30% higher than what it was a year ago, that means a year ago you were doing, call it 85 grand a month, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Talk to me about some of the other critical economics in any SaaS company. What's your churn today and how do you manage it?
Our churn has been higher than we would like it to be. It is currently running at about 2.5% by customer numbers, just under 3% by revenue.
That's monthly?
Per month.
Yeah.
That's monthly. We'd like it to be substantially less than that, but we are churning at a higher rate on our old product and a much lower rate on the new. So naturally, our older product, we have ceased developing that, and I guess higher average churn will be expected.
How aggressive are you being in driving growth on the current company? And maybe a good way to quantify this is if you've got a customer signing up for $135, $145 a month, how much are you willing to spend to get that customer?
Well, our customer acquisition costs are actually pretty low, and that is mainly because we are spending woefully low amounts at the moment on sales and marketing.
Does that include overhead like headcount?
Yeah, so if I include headcount and marketing investments across the board, we're under $300 per customer.
That's good. So call it a 2 month payback. Yeah, 2 or 3 month payback period.
2 month payback. Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah. But that's not something I'm proud of. I mean, it would be a great number, but I would love to be spending much more on sales and marketing than we are right now. It just comes down to affordability.
Yeah, and finding channels that work that you can plow money into.
Yeah, and with that, we've tried everything. We've experimented with a lot of different marketing channels, and it comes down to good old-fashioned digital inbound content marketing. That's the real thing that we found has resonated with customers and is driving the traffic to our site.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, very good here, Mike. Let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Not really a business book, but I guess Art of War, Sun Tzu, can't beat it.
Yep. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following?
There's a lot to be learned for business people there.
Of course. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
No, not really.
Number 3,
I'm too busy.
What's your favorite online tool for building the company?
Right now, HubSpot. And Intercom.
Intercom and HubSpot. Good. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
About 6.5.
Okay. And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
Married, divorced, I mean, married currently, but previously divorced. And across my two families, I have four adorable girls.
Oh, four kiddos. And how old are you, Mike?
I'm 50.
50. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I suffer from terrible anxiety. And the one thing I wish I knew that I've learned is stop worrying things you can't solve and focus your energy on fixing things that can be fixed.
Guys, don't worry about things you can't
Personal
control.
life and your business.
Personal and business. Again, company founded back in 2012, ChannelGrabber, again, helping e-commerce brands, currently serving 800, paying 145, 135 bucks a month, doing about 110 grand per month in revenue right now. That's up from 85 grand per month just a year ago. They're bootstrapped. They have about 400,000 bucks in debt that they've raised, looking to be cash flow positive in early 2019, 2.5% logo churn per month, about 3% revenue churn per month, spending 300 bucks fully weighted to acquire a $145 a month customer. So 2 or 3 month payback. Team of 20 based in the UK. Founded in 2012. Mike, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you. Great pleasure.